Okay, in this video what we're going to do is demonstrate how to find an unknown angle. So far in our trigonometric videos we've been looking at how to find an unknown side. So this is a new situation for us. We can still use our sine, cos, tan ratios in order to find an unknown angle. So you can see in this triangle I've got a right angle triangle, I've got a hypotenuse of 29, and I've got one side length that I know, 15. I've got an angle here called theta. Okay, that symbol is a symbol called theta, and I need to try to find the angle theta. So in this case I can have a look at my memory trick, so ka toa, and in this case here's my angle theta, and I know the opposite side and I know the hypotenuse. So here I've got my angle. Remember, the side that's opposite it is 15, and I know the long side, which is opposite the right angle, as 29. So I've got opposite and hypotenuse. So I look at my memory trick and I can see that I'm going to use sine because I've got the opposite and the hypotenuse. I don't know what the adjacent side is, the A, and so I can rule out the tangent ratio and the cosine ratio because both of those require this adjacent side. So I can now write up an equation. So the sine of theta is going to be equal to, and our memory trick helps us remember that it's the opposite over the hypotenuse. So that's going to be 15 over 29. Now, this is the new learning. You'll see at the moment we've said that the sine of theta is equal to 15 over 29. On your calculators you've got a function called the inverse sine, and what that allows us to do is use the inverse sine on this ratio, and it will calculate for us the angle. So instead of finding the ratio for an angle, it's going to find the angle from a ratio. So let's write up what we want to do. We're going to say that theta then is going to be equal to the inverse ratio, and the way that we write that is sine to the power of minus 1. So theta is equal to the inverse ratio of 15 over 29. So we've got the inverse of sine, 15 over 29. So then we grab our calculators, and you'll see that just above the sine button on your calculator there's the inverse ratio button. So to access that you'd push shift and then sine. So we're going to push shift and then sine, and you'll see that your calculator says sine to the power of minus 1, and then you'll put this fraction. So we want 15 divided by 29, and then close our brackets and press equals, and you'll see that the answer is 31.1473892 degrees. Remember, this is an angle. And so then we need to decide what the rounding is going to be. So in our case, we're going to round to 2 decimal places. So our rounded value for theta is equal to 31.15. And because it's an angle, it's measured in degrees. And so here we've used the inverse sine ratio with our the inverse sine function with our ratio to find the value of theta.